Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers knockoff review thanks to the guys at TF Direct. Today I'm taking a look at one of the latest offerings from Wei Jiang. Those naughty people have knocked off the Titans Return line and they have given us the Robot Force Chief Army Champsosaurs. Just taking a quick look at the back of the box, we have the head deformation, we have two other figures in the line, and we also have a picture of Champsosaurs in his bot mode and his crocodile alligator mode, and they seem very indecisive on their company name as well. They're Wei Jiang on the front and they're Wei Jiang deformation era on the rear. Same logo, different name. I think Wei Jiang have about 3 or 4 different names they operate under, so who knows, but we do get some nice sparkly art there on the side. Now there are a few subtle differences between him and the official, the most obvious being the difference in size. It kind of looks like Champsosaurs is taking his son with him to work for the day. Colour-wise, it's very close. The white is still an off-white, it's more of kind of a grey there, and it is a very similar tone to what the Hasbro uses. The green, it's a slightly darker shade. The head, I don't know why they went with the white head as opposed to the black. The black would have been definitely more in keeping with his animation counterpart, but you know, they don't want to copy it exactly, I guess. We do have some additional paint applications. We have them here on the waist, we have them on the kneecaps and at the end of the toes. We have the detailing there picked out on the chest, and Wei Jiang decided to improve on the mold and allow us to take the crocodile legs around and store them in the back of the legs. I really don't know why Hasbro Watakara didn't give us this option. It really didn't take a lot of engineering. They simply put a hinge on there. You know, it's already attached to this section anyway. They literally just added a hinge here. I don't know. I don't know why they did what they did, but Wei Jiang have definitely done a good job with this. Now, in my personal opinion, this guy does feel a bit of a floppy mess. All of the joints are fairly loose. I mean, we get kind of friction joints on the knees, we get a ball joint on the thigh there, mushroom peg on the waist, again a friction joint there. I think that's meant to be a kind of ratchet on the elbow there. I'm not sure, there are teeth there, but I think it's still a friction joint. It just doesn't cut it for me. It is too loose. I mean, this is a retail release and this is how it's being sold in shops. It's a nice looking figure, but at the same time it's a flippy floppy mess. Now if we take a look at the, if I can get him to stay, if I take a look at the Wei Jiang offering, for example, we have ratchets on the knees, and I mean they're pretty good ratchets. We still have a mushroom peg on the thigh there. We still have a friction joint on that thigh, although there is some resistance there. I think it's still a friction joint. It appears to be. Still have the same pinned toes, so there's no articulation there. The waist, again, is still on a friction joint. We do get a friction joint on that part of the shoulder, and we get a ball joint on the inner part. There's a nice tight joint on there though. We get a mushroom peg there for the upper bicep swivel, and we get lovely ratchet joints on the elbow, and we get arm fillers. Hasbro left us asking why when they gave us this figure. Why leave big holes in his body? I know he's a cheap figure, but still, you know, Wei Jiang didn't. They didn't leave us wanting for anything. They've got these nice little fillers here, and I mean, you're looking on average, these are around like between $13 and $20. That is cheaper than what you can get a deluxe for. That's insane. Okay, look, we don't have the sticker sets. You know, we've got the stickers with the con logos, etc. I mean, we don't have a Decepticon logo on there, but that being said, I don't imagine it's going to be particularly difficult to get a sticker on there to match. Other than that, I mean, in essence, it's pretty much exactly the same. I mean, personally, this is the sort of size Headmaster I was kind of expecting when they said they were going to do Headmasters in the line. This section is painted on the original, and this section here, I'm not sure if I think it's die cast. It definitely feels, yep, this is a die cast, and it's just pegged in there, but again, it adds a little bit of extra heft to your figure. Let's just take a look at the Headmasters. Now, as you can see, there is a vast difference in size. I would like them to paint the face sculpt, to be honest, but I guess beggars can't be choosers. Other than that, I mean, they are pretty much identical. You mean, you've got the head rotation, you've got the ball mounted arms, but you can't really make use of that full range of motion. We do get the ability to have him sitting down, and unfortunately there's still no face covers for the backs of the heads. I thought that's something maybe they would have engineered on these, but again, these are very cheap in comparison to like the third-party Headmasters, for example. But all in all, I mean, it's a good size. It's pretty much spot on, I think, to the original G1 Headmasters. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's about the same size. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the G1 Headmasters to test it with, but I wonder if these heads are actually compatible. If they are, that would be pretty awesome, because then we can kind of switch out the likes of the, say, Junkie on Blacksmith heads and things like that as well. Now, weapon-wise, it's easier to see the difference in the shades of white used. The white here is the same as what we get with the official body, and the white here is what we get with the Wei Jiang body. You see, they are quite different. They're still kind of off-white, none of them are pearly white. I actually don't like the oversized gun, I think, because they've taken the original gun and they've kind of blown it up. They haven't included any of the inner detailing there, and I think it just looks a little bit too plain, blown up to this size. I mean, the details have been carried on throughout onto this side here, but unfortunately nothing on that side. And if you look, the design is ever so slightly different. You get almost like a squished circle here, and this is definitely got some very sharp angles in there, so they are slightly different. They haven't just blown up the mold. And again, with the tails, you can see that the pinks are a pretty close match, albeit they are slightly different in shade. The detailing on the underside is probably a little bit less pronounced on the bootleg. This one's quite detailed on the inner workings. This one's a little bit more simplified, but I don't really look on the underside of the tail. It's not on my to-do list. And of course, we can link these both up like we did with the original, so we can have this wielded like this, or he can wield them as two separate weapons. Now, I don't have many of the large Titans Return figures for a scale comparison, so here he is with Blaster, but as you can see, I would say he's a good Voyager sized figure. In fact, he kind of gives me that Generations Voyager feel to him. He's got that same sort of plastic consistency, that sort of vibe that I got from the likes of Generation Springer. I really enjoyed this figure, probably more so than I really should have done. Now let's look at getting our young reptilian robot force friend transformed up into his crocodile mode. The first port of action is to detach the weapons and take the head off. Open up the new inner forearm section, rotate the hands around, close that off and bring the claws down and make them click. Rotate the forearm section around and then bring this section up, and there's a tab just here, and that's going to tab in to this line on the shoulder section. We can then pull the gator head forward. Now the lock on this is much nicer than what we got with the original. It's a very secure, firm lock. Flip that over. As we bring it over, there's a tab here and a tab here. They're going to line up with the gator head. I'm sorry I keep chopping and changing between gator and crocodile. I'm really not sure what he's meant to be. I'm assuming he's actually meant to be a crocodile, but I can't guarantee that. And you'll instantly notice that it is a hard plastic being used there. Now, it's hard to see in there, but we do get the computer console and the seat, etc. on there. It's just nice to have this in a solid plastic and not that horrible rubber that we got on the original. Now we just position the head where we want it. I'm just going to have the jaw open slightly, flip the toes up, unfold these leg sections and bringing them back round to the side. We can then tab these two together. Not a fan of these new retaining tabs. The ones on the original did seem to work a lot better, and not if anything's going to break on this figure, it's going to be those. Just make sure they're nipped in fully. And then we are going to bring these sections over using this double hinge section, bringing that up, and these tabs here are going to locate in the back of the waist section, securing this back part into place. Just position these legs, and then we can bring in the tail and just tab that on like so. And there he is in all his glory. I'm just going to place his pilot down inside the cockpit section and just close that off. And there we have one very awesome knockoff. Got a really nice kind of spring loaded ball joint on the head there, just kind of springs up and down. We can go left and right, great motion there. We can twizzle the head. Nice palate there inside his mouth, very reptilian indeed. It's just got a very good size to it. You know, that is honestly massive in comparison to the original. There he is. See, it looks like daddy and son again. Props off to Hasbro for the nice fun design, but this just doesn't, the tail just falls off. He just doesn't really do it for me. I mean, the head has pretty much the same motion. We get all the same articulation in this mode. It's just nothing holds together as well. I thought those double tabs would actually work better, but there's not really anything in it. But this guy, you can actually, come on, there you are. That's when it starts to come untabbed, but even then the tail still didn't come off even after all of that. So what do you all think? Is this a waste of Wei Jiang's time? I mean, they're even starting to bootleg the TF5 figures. I mean, that's insane. I mean, their Megatron is literally out already, and it's a upscaled Voyager to leader size with a premium paint job, and the leader class figure hasn't even hit most of the retail in the UK, which is insane. How has a bootleg made it out before the official? I think maybe somebody got hold of some factory rejects and is now going to make an absolute bomb from them. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I personally prefer this upscaled scale. One thing that may bother some people is the fact that it comes with their own logo on top. That's something you can't get rid of. It's the Wei Jiang logo. I mean, we could probably put some form of sticker over there, but it's there nonetheless. Honestly, cannot wait to get the other figures in this line like Hardhead, Brainstorm, and I can't wait for them to do a Chrome Dome. Honestly, really looking forward to that. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, share and subscribe. And until next time, from myself and Champsosaurs, goodbye.